So hi everybody, and welcome back to the Dartmouth Wanderers and Coastline Elderly Services presents a healthy cooking show with me. My name's Jamie. For those of you who don't know me already, I am the dietitian for Coastline Elderly Services in downtown New Bedford. And with me today is Pat Foster.
Hello.
She's one of my dear coworkers, and we're super excited to cook with you today because we are making spring rolls. Now, when we were talking about this, we were saying, when you told someone you were going to make spring rolls today, they were like, spring rolls? What's that? Spring rolls don't necessarily have to be deep fried. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are not going to deep fry them. We're going to make some really fresh vegetable spring rolls, and then we're going to show you what to do with some of the leftover wrappers that you have. And we're going to hear more about what Pat does because it's very interesting. So let's get started without further ado.
All right.
Okay. So along with the spring rolls, we have a almond dipping sauce. So we're going to use some almond butter. You could also use peanut butter if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. So to start, you're going to put about a 1/4 cup of almond butter in a bowl. And then into that, you're going to mix about 2 tablespoons of water because you need to thin it out a little bit, and you want to make sure that water is a little bit warm. Okay. And then to that, we just put all the ingredients in a bowl together.
You said 2 tablespoons, right?
About 2 tablespoons of water to thin it out a little bit. And then you'll add about a 1/2 tablespoon of soy sauce. And we got the lower sodium soy sauce today. Whatever brand you like is good for you. And then to that, you'll add about a teaspoon or 2 of sugar to taste. If you're someone who has to avoid sugar, then certainly you could leave that out. It just won't be as sweet.
Well, there are plenty of substitutes that you can certainly throw in there. The Truvias, the Splendas, the Equal, whatever your preference is.
Just remember, if you're using an artificial sweetener, it's a lot sweeter than regular sugar.
That's true.
About 10 times as sweet, so you won't need nearly as much.
Here we are.
In terms of other sweeteners you could use like agave nectar.
Oh, I love agave. I have that at home.
Yeah.
With my tea.
It doesn't have a really high glycemic load, so if you're a diabetic, it's not going to raise your blood sugars very much. And you could, like I said, you could also use peanut butter, or if you have another kind of nut butter that you really enjoy.
Maybe tahini.
Tahini, you could use a tahini. And tahini is a sesame seed paste.
Sesame seed paste, yes.
So sesames are to tahini what peanuts are to peanut butter.
Right.
So you're going to whisk all those ingredients together. It might take a minute for it to come together. Mm-hmm. And that's why we use the warm water, so it kind of melts it down a little bit. And if you need to add more almond butter, you can do that too. And then we're going to set that aside once it's all mixed together. Okay. And we're going to start on our spring rolls. Now, up until a week ago, I had never made spring rolls before. And this was Pat's idea.
Yes, I had made some, and they turned out so delicious. We're doing this weight loss challenge thing at Coastline right now, and I'm a participant in that. So Jamie was like, okay, bring in some recipes.
Yeah.
So I had actually made these over the weekend, and I said, here you go. And she was so excited. She says, oh, come on the show with me and let's make them.
Exactly.
So that's what we have done. So
these are so healthy and so easy. You can make them with anything you have in your house. If you don't like what we're using today, use whatever you want.
Well, nowadays there are so many different things that you can use in place of bread or things. And so basically the spring roll wrappers are just a carrier, and the carrier can carry anything in it. So we get to be creative.
Okay, so to start making the spring rolls, that looks pretty good.
Great.
And you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. So these rice papers we have, they look like this when they're dry. When you get them out of the wrapper, like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to dip them into a bowl of water for about, here you go, Pat.
Thank you.
For about 10 seconds, just to rehydrate them. And then you're going to place them And if they rip a little bit, don't worry. Don't worry. They'll kind of patch themselves up. You're going to place it onto a damp towel, like a dish towel or a tea towel. And then all you do, we're like halfway done here.
Isn't this fun?
You just place the ingredients kind of on the half that's closest to you, and you layer them. So today, we're going to use some chicken. You can use any kind of chicken that you have. Take a few pieces, and this is where we're going to get our protein from here. We have a grilled chicken today, but you could have baked, or if you had boiled, or if you had turkey, you could use the turkey.
Absolutely. If you have leftovers in the fridge, just be creative.
And I think the original recipe you made at home, Pat, was leftovers.
It was. It was leftover turkey.
Leftover turkey.
Yep.
You could even make like a turkey dinner one. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh gosh, yes.
So then on top of the chicken, you're going to place a few carrot sticks. I'm putting 4. And then on top of your carrot sticks, I'll put that closer to you. You're going to place some thinly sliced apple. That one's a little thick. I'm going to make that one smaller. And you want them to be thinly sliced just so you don't overwhelm your wrapper, because they can be pretty delicate. And honestly, that's probably the hardest part of this recipe, is being delicate with it.
Sure, yeah, it took me a couple times.
Yeah, when I tried to make them at home, there was some rice paper carnage going on when I started. But once you get the hang of it, it's really easy.
Yeah.
So then next we're going to put a little bit of these leaves, and I think I'll chop these a little bit thinner.
Okay.
This is a red cabbage. Again, you could use lettuce. Oh, you want them chopped a little bit more?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll take a couple chopped thinner.
Thinly sliced.
There we go.
There we go.
It's very colorful too,
It's so pretty. And this purple cabbage, you can get it right at the grocery store. And that purple color means you're getting a ton of nutrients. A ton of nutrients. They say if it stains your shirt, then it's really good for you.
Have you learned that from experience?
I have learned that. So like strawberries, pomegranates, things like that. This beets, you know, like they stain your fingers, that purple color.
Yeah.
So good for you. And if you see, I mean, this is so beautiful when you cut it open. It just, I love it so much. Okay. I'm getting too excited about my vegetables. So next, and this is the last ingredient for the actual spring roll, we're going to take a few leaves of cilantro.
That is my favorite
Yes.
spice. Herb.
Such a good herb.
Next to basil.
Yeah.
Basil and cilantro.
You could use basil in this if you wanted to. Just a few. Because basil, cilantro is a pretty strong flavor. Also known as coriander. You might know it as that. Okay. So the last step here, they're a little sticky, so be careful. You're going to fold over the bottom part of your wrapper, over your filling. Mm-hmm. Then fold in the sides over the middle. And we'll make these one more time just so you can see again how we did it. Fold over the sides and then kind of tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll.
Tuck and roll.
There is mine.
They're beautiful.
And rolled.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I
Look
see
how
one more.
different they look.
Isn't that funny? It's all in the art
It
of
is.
making your very own.
And it's free form.
The nice thing is that if you're having friends over, you can always go ahead and just have all the ingredients together, sort of like having a taco party, and have it as a spring roll party, and let everybody make their own.
You can put whatever you want in them. That way, if someone doesn't like
Absolutely.
something, you can leave one thing out. You could add something else into it.
Of course.
You could use a different dipping sauce. You could just use plain soy sauce if you wanted to.
Yeah. I keep a bottle of sweet chili sauce in my refrigerator all the time.
That's right. We haven't even said you could make these spicy.
Yes.
If you're a person that likes spicy foods.
Life is always better with a little spice. That's what I say.
All right. So we're gonna make these so you can see them one more time. So we soaked our rice paper. We're gonna put some chicken in here. And the recipe you're gonna see today at the end of the show is for 6 spring rolls. It'll make you 6 spring rolls. Okay. So I got my chicken. Then we put a few slices of the carrot on top. I'm going to try to make mine a little longer like yours this time.
Ah.
I like it.
Okay.
Okay. Then we put a couple of our apple slices. And if you like more apple, you can put all apple instead of carrot. If you don't like this radicchio, you can use plain shredded lettuce. You could use iceberg, big lettuce.
And I liked when you sliced up the apples, you squeezed some lime juice on there. And now I'm looking and I'm going, limes?
Yes.
Lime juice would go in this sauce.
Yes, we forgot to put the lime juice in the sauce.
So now that I'm looking at it.
Yes. Good. Okay.
And I'm going, wait a minute, there's still something here on the table that hasn't been used. I always like to use a fork to squeeze the lime juice.
Yeah, that's a great trick. And putting the lime juice on an apple or anything that browns is a really great trick to keep them from browning. Any kind of acid will keep your fruits and veggies from browning. Like if you had an avocado, it would keep it from browning also.
What do you say, 3, 4 wedges?
I'd say 3 wedges.
Okay.
Just so we don't get too thin.
Okay, good.
All right. So I'm rolling up my second one here.
Well, what did I leave out? Oh, I left out the cabbage.
Oh, I sliced you a little bit.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, here we go.
Now, Pat, tell us a little bit more about what you do for Coastline.
Well, I've been at Coastline for 13 years. And when I started, I was a case manager, and I did that for a couple of years. And then a position opened up, and that was called the Community Mainstream Program.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. That's what I do now. What I did for 8.5 years through Coastline was I was the supportive living coordinator at Trip Towers. There are 202 apartments there. And what I did was I had my office there. I coordinated activities for the residents. I oversaw their care plans. It is a program, still exists. A wonderful new lady, her name is Natasha Salame. She runs it now. She took over when I left. And you oversee care plans for elders who are aging in place, and that is as an alternative to nursing home placement. So I did that for 8.5 years, and then this position came up 3.5 years ago as the Community Mainstream Program Coordinator. And I went ahead and I applied for it, and heaven's sakes, wouldn't you guess I got it? So for me...
And you've been in that position for 3 years.
3.5 years, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does,
huh?
and what I'm like is I'm kind of like the Mary Poppins for the senior set.
Oh, okay.
I go out and I assess people for benefits. I do screenings, financial screenings, and I can find all sorts of different things that they might qualify for that they don't even know exist for homeowners. Basically, it was designed as a grant program to allow elders to be able to age better out in the community because fixed income is fixed.
Right.
And so as elders age in place in their homes, you know, finances can become very tight. And so I go out there and I assess people. There are 2 ways that I can get a referral. I can get a referral through case managers who might go out and see the elder and find out that they might have a need or they might qualify for something and want me to check it out. And the other way is just to simply call Coastline Elderly Services, ask for a consultation with the Community Mainstream Program, and I will go out there and do a visit and see what they qualify for. So it's marvelous.
Fantastic. Yeah. Coastline, everything that Coastline done is amazing. So much we can do to help elders.
We are a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Basically, if you have a need, call us. We have a phenomenal intake and referral department. Those girls are great. They will take your information. They themselves can oftentimes go ahead and give people referrals on what they need. And if not, then they give me the referral. And I go out there and I do an hour and a half assessment. You know, it's something that takes some time. And I always enjoy going, and they usually always enjoy that I came. So
come see you right in your home.
That's right.
Home visit. What more could you ask
You cannot go through a wrong door when you come to Coastline Elderly Services.
Absolutely.
So this looks
The
fabulous.
very last thing, I know, I can smell the almond butter in here. And we're gonna finish these. You can finish them with sesame seeds, but I have this really cool, oh, it's not sticking. That's okay.
Well, really I'll show you how they stick. You just do this.
Oh, look at your cat.
Dab, dab, dab.
I knew I liked you.
Of course.
So with some of this black sea salt, you just need a little tiny bit, but it really looks so pretty.
Little dabs.
Little dab will do you.
That's the nice thing about sea salt is you don't need a whole lot of it to give it a huge amount of flavor.
Now, we're gonna try these. So we have our almond butter dipping sauce here. So remember we put the soy sauce in there, a little bit of sugar and the lime juice. So good. Okay, let's dig in before we move on to our next recipe.
Okay.
So you can see all the colors in there. It's just, it's so pretty.
Very fresh.
It's so pretty.
There we go. There, isn't that lovely?
We want you to see them. All the different colors in there.
Yeah.
The green, the purple. All right. Here we go.
Oh.
Oh my. Mmm. That is so good.
It is so fresh.
Mmm. The almond butter makes it rich and creamy. And then you have the spring roll itself, which is just fresh, like you said.
It is totally fresh.
The apple makes it a little bit sweet. And then finishing with that tiny bit of sea salt and a nice little salty bite. I have to take one more bite before we move on.
Well, who doesn't like salty and sweet at the same time? Now, really, isn't that the most wonderful combination?
Okay. Before we just eat everything on this plate, we want to show you our next recipe. So let's move some of this stuff out of the way for you so that you can see what we're doing. Now the next recipe, we were looking for some way, because the recipe for the spring rolls only makes about 6 spring rolls, so you're going to have some leftover spring rolls.
Well, I have to tell you, when I made the spring rolls at home, I ended up making the whole package. It took me ages to roll them all up. That was the biggest challenge. But I have to tell you, they were just as good the next day.
Good.
I brought some to work.
So you can keep them overnight,
Absolutely.
too.
They keep overnight wonderfully.
And
yes,
if you're going to keep the spring roll wrappers, you just want to put them into a sealed container in the refrigerator so they don't dry out on you.
Right.
But we today are going to make them into a little dessert for you. My personal favorite part of the meal. So it's warm in here, so these are curling up a little bit. So
just remember, though, if they do curl up, it doesn't mean you can't use them. All you have to do is put them into the water, and they will flatten themselves back out again.
Point, so if you're making the spring rolls with it. So what we're going to do now, you're going to preheat your oven to 375. Take some cooking spray, which mostly everybody has at home. I'll let you do the sprinkling. Okay. Just spray them lightly with the cooking spray so that your cinnamon sugar will stick. You're going to sprinkle them with a little bit of cinnamon and sugar, as much or as little as you would like. You could use different spice mixtures if you wanted to also. You could make them savory and they could be like chips for you. Ooh. So we'll sprinkle these with the sugar. Again, you could use a sugar substitute if you wanted to.
Yes. And a little goes a long way.
It
gives you great flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a really healthy, easy, fast dessert. And each one of these spring roll wrappers is only about 30 calories, I think. And we're not adding much to it, so it's staying around there. So we're going to put these in the oven for about 2 or 3 minutes. That's all it takes. And they're going to crisp up even more. Just be so good. Okay. And in the meantime, while we wait for those, what we're going to have with it is some frozen or fresh berries. We're using frozen thawed berries today. And then you can either use whipped cream, but we've chosen to go with yogurt, a vanilla Greek yogurt. Now, what is the difference between Greek yogurt and regular yogurt? You may be wondering, what is the difference?
I guess you're just going to have to tell me. I do know that I use it every morning to make my fruit smoothie, so I know that I do. It's my favorite thing to start the day with.
Nice.
But I use Greek yogurt, I use coconut milk, I use frozen strawberries, banana.
I like it, Pat. Now Greek yogurt, you've probably seen it everywhere nowadays.
Nowadays,
in the
of course.
past couple of years. It has been around for a long time. Actually, I'm going to put the berries in the bowl first. So to make this little dessert, we're going to take some of the berries. I'll have you do this part. Take some of the berries. Put as much as you want in the bowl. Like I said, you can use fresh ones if you want, but I like the frozen for this because they almost create their own sauce.
Sure.
So when they defrost, the berries are kind of broken down.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see all the amazing color and the juice in there.
Blueberries are good for antioxidants.
Absolutely. Antioxidants, fiber.
Lovely.
Any kind of berry. And
How's
again, be careful because those will stain your shirt.
What did you say earlier? You said anything that will stain your shirt is good for you.
Exactly. It means it's packed with nutrients. So to this Greek yogurt, it's a vanilla Greek yogurt. You could also use plain. I'm adding just like a half teaspoon of honey, and I put about a half teaspoon worth of vanilla extract in there too to give it a little bit more flavor. And the Greek yogurt has more protein in it, and that's one of the major differences. So the Greek yogurt has about 14 grams of protein in this one little container, whereas a regular yogurt, it's only going to have about 6 grams of protein.
Okay.
And the protein is going to keep you fuller for longer. Okay. And it also has active live cultures in it, which keep your digestive tract healthy. Okay. All right, I'm so excited.
Do we have to have dessert after?
Okay, so it's been probably about 2 minutes.
Yep.
So we're gonna take out our rice paper. And you just wanna make sure that it's crispy, and ours is nice and crispy. It probably won't brown up on you, but that's not even necessary. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is try not to burn yourself. Maybe if I use my knife. You just kind of want to go in and break it up a little bit. So we want like a big chip size. They're very crumbly. They will crumble quite easily on you. Just kind of stick them in the yogurt. Make it look pretty. Okay, now I'm going to put another one in there. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. And you can smell the cinnamon and sugar when it heats up like that.
Yep.
Put one more in there. And you could even eat these by themselves. They don't even need the yogurt. Okay. Look at these, are so pretty. Okay,
very nice.
Let's get some spoons. Now that dessert took less than 5 minutes, I think.
Right.
Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It took no time at all.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna dig right in and have a chip first.
Oh, all right.
That's what I'm doing. Okay.
Dip.
Can you hear that? How crunchy it is. They're not overly sweet. Okay, now I have to have it with a berry. Okay.
That's
The
a great
berries
dessert.
themselves are sweet, but they're a little bit tart. And you have the tanginess from the yogurt, and it all just works so well together.
That's wonderful.
And we're done for the day.
How great is that?
This was fantastic. So thank you guys so much for joining us today for these really fast, easy, healthy, delicious, and fulfilling recipes. I hope that we see you again. And Pat, thank you so much for coming here today and making this with me.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me on here.
Yeah.
And the lovely thing is that as I'm learning how to age gracefully, I'm finding out that, you know, it's always better to build a better boomer. And there's a whole generation of us out there, so take good care of yourselves and age gracefully into our future.
Exactly.
And if anybody has a need to have an assessment done, that is open to anybody who is over 60. And please give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, if you don't make time to be healthy now, you have to make time for sickness later on. That's what I like to say. And stay tuned after the show. The recipes will be scrolling by. And check us out on YouTube.
Thank you so much.